Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. Jonathan Kuminga just put an absolute show at the Crossover Pro-Am, dropping 60 points. So in today's video, ahead of his third season, we are going to be analyzing Jonathan Kuminga in order to answer the question, what is his potential and how good will Jonathan Kuminga be at the end of his career? Jonathan Kuminga is still a very young guy, only 20 years old still, and he's a former 7th pick of the 2021 NBA draft. But despite being the 7th pick in the NBA draft, he really is yet to crack the lineup in Golden State for a significant amount of minutes. In his first season, he averaged 16.9 minutes per game. Then in the postseason, of course, he won an NBA championship in his rookie year and even got some starts in that postseason, but for the most part, really failed to crack the lineup as he only had 8.6 minutes per game in that postseason. Last year, he had 20.8 minutes per game, so a nice increase in minutes per game from his rookie year, but he really did not perform in the playoffs this past year. He somewhat struggled to mesh with the offense when he was out there, which resulted in him getting a deduction in minutes, only 6.1 minutes per game, with a lot of fans really questioning Steve Kerr. Why aren't they getting the young guy a lot of minutes in the postseason? It seems as though they could have used him. In today's video, we're going to be answering that question as well. The first thing you guys need to know about Jonathan Kuminga, he's very, very good with the ball in his hands. He'll occasionally shoot a three off the dribble, but for the most part, when he has the ball in his hands, he really does have two goals. One, shoot a nice mid-range shot, usually around the free throw line or the elbows, or two, get to the rim. Jonathan Kuminga is a guy at 6'8", about 220 pounds, with a very nice explosive frame. He's a guy who gets very vertical and likes attacking the basket. He's a very good dunker, and he has very nice layups and finishes around the rim. Jonathan Kuminga is actually a pretty good off-ball player as well. He makes nice cuts to the basket for easy layups and dunks. I really envision Chris Paul being used in the pick and roll with Jonathan Kuminga to a significant degree in this up-and-coming season. Don't be surprised if we see some high-flying action similar to what we saw from Chris Paul and a young Blake Griffin. He's also very good in the pick and pop as well. He's a very good shooter from the corners, as he shot over 40% last year from corner three. And he overall is just a very efficient player. Even though he's a bit of a ball stopper on offense, he somewhat does not play within the flow of the offense, as he really does stop the progression of the offense with some of his isolations, which is a part of the reason why, in my opinion, he did not crack the lineup in the playoffs. He's not someone with this insane high basketball IQ. He's probably a below average passer, as in his career last year, he averaged 1.9 assists per game and 1.4 turnovers a game. And again, that really is the reason he did not crack the playoff lineup. He just does not play within the flow of the offense. But as an isolation player, and even as an off-ball player, again, he's very good. He's very efficient. This year, he put up 9.9 points per game on 52.5% from the field and 37% on his three-point attempts. He's also a very good high-level defender. So at his frame, he has a very nice wingspan as well. He's very quick, agile, and has good foot speed. So not only could he guard the 3s and 4s in the NBA with absolute ease, he can also keep up with some guards on the perimeter in some switch opportunities, which really will help him thrive in the Steve Kerr system. In my opinion, Jonathan Kuminga would have already broken out in his second year if he did not play for the Golden State Warriors, and specifically Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr really is reminding me lately over the last couple of years and how he's handled the young guys. He really does remind me of Greg Popovich, a guy who really demands this insane Hall of Fame, high IQ basketball play. If you're a guy who likes playing in the isolation, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, those guys aren't going to favor those guys, so they are going to give him a significantly shorter leash than the rest of the NBA would give these guys. Again, I love the Golden State Warriors system. I love the Spurs system, but it really is not indicative of a scorer like Jonathan Kuminga, a guy who's very efficient in the isolation. Again, this system is not indicative of these guys putting up high point per game seasons or getting a significant opportunity, as again, these are offenses with a significant amount of movement and a significant amount of passes. So first and foremost, for Jonathan Kuminga's career, I either A, want to see him not in the Golden State Warriors system anymore, or B, I really really do want to see Steve Kerr really ease up his system and start being a little bit more forgiving on these young guys. But guys, I love Jonathan Kuminga. He has such a rare ability to be so efficient in the mid-range. The mid-range really is coming back in the NBA, and that's going to be spearheaded by really good mid-range shooters in the isolation like Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga exactly reminds me of a guy, Danny Granger, a prime Danny Granger. They had a very similar frame in the exact same offensive play style. Danny Granger did get somewhat shit in his career of being a bit of a ball stopper, but a very efficient one at that. He's a guy who is a very efficient mid-range scorer and even had a couple seasons shooting above 40% from the three. Not only that, but he put up 3 20-point per game seasons with a 25-point per game season in there. That's really what I envision for a prime Jonathan Kuminga. That's what I think his potential is. But the thing is, Danny Granger really was at best an average NBA defender. Jonathan Kuminga is a guy who already is a well above league average defender. So if you think Jonathan Kuminga could be a prime Danny Granger offensively, but Jonathan Kuminga defensively, now you have a top 25 to top 20 player in the NBA. That's exactly what I envision for Jonathan Kuminga's career. As you guys can tell in this video, I'm definitely a very pro Jonathan Kuminga guy. Do I ever think he's going to be this Hall of Fame, insane high IQ basketball player? No, I don't, but I really do think he can be a multiple time All-Star if he gets to a situation that will let him have a little bit of a longer leash than Steve Kerr has given him thus far in his career. So my official prediction for Jonathan Kuminga's prime and how good I think he will be. Actually, I do think he churns out at least 3 20-point per game seasons in his career. Not only that, but he'll have very efficient seasons doing so. Now, I would like to see him improve on some of the little nitty-gritty things, such as his passing ability, such as his rebounding ability as well. Those two definitely leave a lot to be desired from Jonathan Kuminga. But if you have yourself a 23, 24 point per game scorer on very good efficiency, a guy who can somewhat play off ball as well, that is a perfect recipe for a second fiddle on a championship team, which is exactly what I think Jonathan Kuminga will be. If not, I think he will be the best player on a pretty damn good team. Thanks for listening, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, do you agree with my prime take on Jonathan Kuminga? He will be prime Danny Granger plus a little bit of better defense. Again, if you guys listen until the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Smack that like and hit subscribe.